Merry Sipmas, ladies and gentlemen, Gungans and droids, across our beloved empire. You know what? I don't care if you celebrate Christmas, Kwanzaa, Hanukkah, Life Day. Every day is simply a holiday with you guys because it's great to be in the Empire today. Seriously, from Gary's family and mine, I want to wish you guys a happy holidays. You guys are truly the gift that keeps on giving. And as your host today, Santa Cost, we're doing a yearly video. Every single year, a lot of stuff happens, good and for bad in Galaxy of Heroes. And we always make a wish list. What do we want to see for the upcoming year? 2022 around the corner. My gosh, 2021 almost in the books. Sending on over to the bank. I want to start off with this. Last year, I reviewed our video. Two significant things happened, which I think were for the better. Thing number one, gear farming economy changes. Now, you guys remember my initial opinion. It's a good change. I wasn't to the moon because it was something that should have been done in 2017. The change that they made were really change that should have been implemented quite a few years ago. But nonetheless, great seeing that they made the changes, such as making Mark V stun guns easier to acquire. Gary, I'm gonna throw you off the frickin' roof. No, I do not want to farm the Genosian soldier. Gear economy changes for the better. I think they could have done a little bit more, but that was great to see that they finally addressed things like stun guns, Carbanti, stun cuffs, things that were just so old. Gear that was in the game since 2015, that's been a pain since 2021. Great seeing the change they made. Hopefully they take it a step further, so like at least the left side of Gear 12 gets a little bit easier to unlock. Like I feel like right now we should be having daily challenges to help with Gear 12 type of stuff. That's just me. The other thing that they did, which was quite significant, I checked and I still remember to this day. I asked, fine, if you don't want to make reworks god tier everywhere, you don't want to make characters that are amazing everywhere, maybe we should go down the route of creating characters that are amazing for specific game modes. And I brought up the example last year of Mace Windu. Back in the day, they experimented this in Territory Wars where certain characters would have a bonus of the month. And Mace Windu was able to solo the Sith Triumvirate Palpatine back then, which was the meta team back in the day. And obviously, what's happened this year, Omicron's coming to Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes, which, you know, for the most part, I feel like are pretty good. I mean, not as free-to-play friendly as, for example, you know, Zetas when they first came up. But nonetheless, I think the Omicrons have been a great addition, bringing light to factions like Qui-Gon Jinn, Leftover Jedi. Man, Zam West has been a fantastic addition to the Bounty Hunter. And of course, we're seeing a lot of other characters. So I'm glad they did that because at least being so exclusive, one thing I've been saying that a lot of rosters are becoming homogenous. They're looking the same for one another. Well, now Omicrons can kind of differentiate rosters a little bit and let people want to excel in game modes that they love the most. So two things I wanted to point out because, listen, when they do something good, I'll call it out. When they do something bad, I'm going to call it out. Well, let's talk about the stuff that I want to see happen in 2022. And you comment down below while you're smashing that like button 3 times. 1 to like, 2 to unlike, and 3 to like it back again. Let me know down below. What's your 2020-22 wish list? 2020-22 wish list. Exactly. You know, I'm in the future. What can I say? First thing on my list, and it's possible. I've seen it firsthand. Especially if Omicron's, the game mode's becoming more important, like Grand Arena, Territory Wars. There is just two things. There's just nothing to do with your roster when there's no Territory Wars going on or territory battles. Yeah, you got your Grand Arena that happens 3 times a week, but there's also no way to test. Practice against counters you're not going to see in Squad Arena. Testing on Omicrons. You just don't. You got to say, all right, YOLO, I might lose this Grand Arena and lose Chris as a result of no way of testing it. I'm putting it number 1 on my list. I'm really hoping for a Sandbox mode, and it could be one of a variety of levels. I'll show you a few examples out there. You know, Squad Arena, outdated game mode, officially dead for the most part. I actually just placed my Embo on defense and said, I don't care. Let me drop down in ranks. At least I can see a bunch of funny looking teams if I want to climb back up here. First things first, they got to get rid of the crystal refresh. I don't even care if they add a Sandbox or not. They need to get rid of the crystal refresh. If you're pulling crystals out of Squad Arena, don't ask for crystals to refresh battles. It's a great way of practicing at the very minimum. Get rid of the cap. Let us play as much Squad Arena as we want. I feel like they just got a little lazy. They're trying to rush things for the holidays. Hoping that's a simple fix. for 2022, but there's at least a few levels of a sandbox mode that I would like to see. One, the play against your friends is one thing. We already got a squad arena system, a grand arena system in place. We've already talked this before. This isn't anything new. Finding a way to just invite your friend, guildmate, into a private squad arena matchup or a private grand arena matchup. So I don't think it's that hard, especially where I'm going to show you a quick little example right here. Another game that I've been playing for several years, Marvel Strike Force. They have pretty much 4 sandbox modes. One, we're inside of what's considered the territory wars of Marvel Strike Force, and it's an inter-guild sandbox mode with the territory war bonuses turned on. So think of that like the omicrons, and we can just place teams and practice as a guild, learn more about a particular team, a particular character, and I can legitimately, this is a guild, my guild mates, Black Order right here. I can go in and I'm just gonna keep it simple. Let's say I wanna go in and I don't know, I wanna do a Black Order mirror match. I'm severely underpowered compared to them. I'm legitimately going into a sandbox mode testing up against a guild mate to screw around, have fun, learn, get better. And it's unfortunate we do not have anything like that inside of Galaxy of Heroes. Now they also have another sandbox mode where I can invite a friend, get into a private lobby, and we can just play with the new characters that came to, let's say, Marvel Strike Force, Galaxy of Heroes. And there's also another sandbox mode called Balanced PvP, where you invite your friend into a lobby, and they will pretty much give you a maxed out character for free to test out and try. Like, holy cow. That's literally test driving a car before you buy it. And then there's the 4th sandbox mode, which they call Blitz. And in Galaxy, we did have something called tournaments way back, and I just look up Short Trooper tournaments. You can find some old videos about it. Basically, it's kind of like a tournament system where you climb up on the higher rank you go by winning more battles. You're going to get more shards of a character. Well, one, act as a great sandbox mode because you saw a variety of teams set on defense. They took it out, I believe they said because of cheating, hacking problems. Well, guess what? We still have hacking and cheating problems to this day in Grand Arena, Squad Arena, everywhere else, but we still have the game modes. I think that's another great thing to bring back. So I'm going to stop myself there. I think sandbox mode is extremely overdue, especially when other game modes have multiple of them inside of them. And, you know, minor nitpick here. Watch this. Normally, if you full auto a battle, or let's say you get stuck behind Candace or Sabine running circles around you, you can just simply back out of the battle. Now, if Gary would be kind enough to do that, listen, I can legitimately click on quit battle, and I can quit the battle while I'm inside of this. Okay, now, Gary, you're driving me nuts. You're driving me nuts. I need you to click on that. Yes, and click on it again. And I backed out of the battle. How is it 2020, soon to be 2, and we still have to force quit the game if we need to exit a battle for one of a variety of reasons? So that was actually number 10 on my list, but you know what? I'm gonna leave it as. Let's move on here. That's honestly, I think, one of the biggest things we need. Finding ways to play with our friends. Using, like if I want to play against my friends 24 hours, why am I being prevented from doing that? Especially when people spend tens, thousands, and I know people have spent hundreds of thousands, several $100,000. You buy a character like, thanks for your money, wait for the next grand arena to start up. A little disappointing, if you ask me. Moving on. This is high on many people's lists. I believe someone in my chat the other day, they made it their duty to spam it in chat every few seconds. Mod management. Hey, we got new mods in 2021, but not mod management. And I don't want to go too far into this. Pretty much every single one of these ideas could be a full video of its own. The mod management system, outdated, not helpful. It's difficult. If you just want to find like a level 12 mod, it's very difficult to do so. If you want to mass slice, there's no mass slicing, no mass leveling. Now, there are third-party tools that exist there. CG is very well aware of them, that many people go to make modding less of a pain. CG can do one of two things: just literally copy what they're doing, buy them out, and tell them, hey, implement it into our game. I don't want to go too far into this because this is a nightmare of a thing. Mods, extremely important in Galaxy. I firmly believe it's 30 to 40% of a character's viability if you mod them properly and you get the right mods. That's a whole other thing about finding mods of speed. But the mod management needs to change. It needs to get updated here. So number 2 on the list, I'm not going to go as into it because this video will be an hour long of me ranting. Next thing, I was looking at my free-to-play account, and actually the Star Killer event brought this to all of our attentions here, because basically the Star Killer event was just a rehash of the marquee event. But it's kind of unfortunate that it's great that the Journey Guide came. The Journey Guide, I think, is a great addition for the game, especially for people who don't want to wait forever to get, let's say, Jedi Knight Luke Skywalker. It's a shame that they didn't put the ships inside of the Journey Guide so you can access Hux anytime you want, or the Grand Moff Tarkin capital ship event. Oh gosh. Journey Guide needs a little more updating with ships, for example, to get them thrown in there. But what I was looking at, for example, it's unfortunate that people who came to the game a little bit later, maybe several years later, they cannot just replay the marquee events to get characters that everyone got for free at 3 stars. I think CG should make a folder for past marquee events, Mando, the Bad Batch, and now we have all the Star Killer requirements. I think it won. You know, some of those marquee events were kind of cool. The Bad Batch event was one of the cooler marquee events that we had. Had more effort put in than the Star Killer Relic 5 requirement event. So marquees, I think they need to bring away so people can just replay and get the characters for free, because that's what, 55, 60 shards. I can't remember how many they give out. That's almost like 1/6 of a character farm, which saves people a lot of time, makes them enjoy past events, maybe get the free gear from the Django event. Man, remember when they gave out gear in a marquee event with Django? Whew. Man, we're way past those days in Galaxy Heroes. Let's stick to the free-to-play account for the moment here. We have a problem. Now, this kind of ties with the gear a little bit that we talked about a moment ago. Oh, man. We need a way to be able to make more use out of low-star characters, because, I don't know, do we have an example in my free-to-play account? Let's check it. I don't know if I have an example in my free-to-play account per se right now, because I don't have a lot of low-star characters that I've geared up to a higher extent. But let's just take Mara Jade, for example. Fantastic, amazing character. Honestly, you don't even need high gear in her. You should see the stuff we're doing on the free-to-play account with this honey. But I get to gear 11, and I'm stuck. The gear 11 gate to gear 12, that was implemented in 2017 because they wanted to separate the gear 11 players from the gear 12 players, when gear 12 was the highest gear available. I complained about this last year. I'm complaining about it now. I firmly believe low star characters should be able to at least get up to gear 12, and then you could separate gear 13 from gear 12. So if you only have a 5-star character, you can go to gear 12 and you can't do the finisher, the very last piece on the bottom right hand side. And again, I don't want to make this to a full Marvel Strike Force video. In Marvel Strike Force, this is one of the great things. You don't need a 7-star character per se to get use out of a character. I mean, you only really need startup characters if you want to get like a 7-star legendary. Pretty much almost all their legendaries still to this day are 5-star unlocks for the most part. But let's take a look at, I don't know. Take a look at Kestra right here. Kestra, one of the best characters inside of Marvel Strike Force. I only have her at 4 stars. But if I wanted to, I can take her up to the max gear. Now, this is the max gear in Marvel Strike Force. They now have a tier 16. But even so, I can still take my low-star character, bring him up. Imagine having a 1-star, I don't know, Mob Enforce, and you bring it up to Relic 8. Pretty bonkers. I think we are way past the days of those gear 11 gates. Let us get up to gear 12 with our low-star characters. Hux is the only example in game that was an accident where a low-star character was able to go all the way to the max gear. That, at least at the time, you can't go to. Oh yeah, can you go to relics? I don't know, but nonetheless, it should be the case here. Moving on. I mentioned a little bit. Speaking of low stars, we need to get back to 5-star unlocks. Just a cup. I'm not asking for every single one of them to be 5-star unlocks, but like Thrawn, Palpatine, Padme. The last 5-star legendary event we had was Padme Amidala, and that was what? 2019, 18, when that happened. And I was hoping Star Killer would have been a 5-star unlock, because now more than ever, and we just need some low-hanging fruit. Look at this, 5-star, 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 5-star unlock. We're way past those days. I don't know if CGs are done at 5-star unlocks, but I really think we need to bring it back. Yes, I understand a 5-star character is not as useful as a 7-star character, but it's great when more people can engage with the new character, have fun with them, bring some of their favorite characters to life, and it only motivates them to take them to 7 stars. So it's kind of unfortunate we're sticking to 7-star only in legendary unlocks. I think that small thing would go the distance here. I'm gonna keep my mouth shut for a long time on this one, because I've ranted about this so much this year. Conquest! I mean, I'm not gonna do a full breakdown. I've made too many videos to count. I hate making videos complaining about Conquest, because this game mode was great when it first came out. It was fantastic when it first came out with minor problems, but it's painfully obvious with this situation here. I mean, I don't even think the biggest CG loyalist apologist out there can even deny this. We saw the monetization go through the roof, the quality of life go down, making it more difficult on the player because they just weren't, the game mode was way too free to play when it came out. I'm hoping they find a way to make it more fun. One of the biggest problems is Stupid faction or particular characters. Use Boba Fett 40 times. Then use smugglers 40 times. Then use bounty hunters 40 times. Then use Boba Fett and Han Solo 40 times. Then use Boba Fett and Fennec Shand 40 times. We got to get at least move away from that. I don't want to get too far into, but you guys who are here at the beginning of the year or even looking at it now, Conquest needs to have some love. The only thing that's redeeming it, in my opinion, is the fun thermal detonator meta that's happening right now in Conquest. Beyond that, man, it's unfortunate to see Conquest go from hero to the villain. Next thing, back to free-to-play stuff here. It drives me a little crazy. We're in 2020, soon to be 2. And there are just some characters that are very old that need to not be as difficult to obtain here. I think that they need to really, I know CG said way back in the day that they have no intention. Gary, why is this mouse not tracking? Okay, you know, fine, we're gonna just do this. I know CG said way back in the day that they're done updating shipments. I think they need to revise that. I get fine, maybe not adding new characters to shipments, which Marvel Strike Force, they still take brand new characters, literally brand new characters, and a lot of them end up in very free-to-play places that exist out there. Let's see, let's find a quick example here. Let's see, Sharon Carter, literally a brand new character in Marvel Strike Force. She is already available. Consider this the Galactic War shipments here, or the Squad Arena. These are all new characters that happened pretty much this year, and they're free to play, accessible very quickly. Now, not every character is going to be that easy to obtain, but it sucks that you, I don't know, you can definitely see that there is a, I don't want to say greed, maybe it's greed, to Galaxy here that other games just don't do. I would love to see them shuffle. Let's see, why can't Boss be a bit easier to farm? Enfys Nest, legacy characters, or at the minimum, if they don't want to shard shuffle characters and put them in more accessible places, at least create like a new type of Bronzium pack, perhaps. Like in Marvel Strike Force, they have this legacy orb. So let's say you're a bit old to the game, and they throw characters that are a bit old. So let's say, for example, you have Minerva, Thanos, you have Loki, and then you have the first gen characters like Captain America, Spider-Man, Iron Fist. You can just open them up, and they'll just give you some random shards of a bunch of characters that are a bit old. Another great catch-up mechanism for characters that maybe new players don't want to spend months to get. Don't get me wrong, the double drops have been fantastic, but you know, there comes a point where no one really needs, you know, 10 shards of Mace Windu anymore. Would love to see shard shuffling happen here at some point. Man, geez, if these changes happen, wow, this game would be making a huge turn for the better, I think. Ships, let's keep it brief. I keep saying this, but you know what? It's my show. I could do what I want. I have a long list for Santa Claus to bring the Galaxy of Heroes. Ship changes! You know that in a whole year, ships only got 2 things. You got your Executor and you got your Razor Crest. That's it. That's it. Wow. Thank goodness the ship model isn't the same for the other games, because this game would have been dead a long time ago. Every year, I recycle the same thumbnail. Death Star raid. It would be great seeing a Death Star raid. We need to fill out more of these capital ships, the Resistance fleet, the Separatist fleet, and now the Bounty Hunter fleet. It's getting really weird. And now we see a data mine that looks to be true at this point. Darth Nihilus Ravager capital ship. We don't really need more capital ships. We need more ships to fill them out. And it would be great to go back to the days when ships first came out. They're accessible in Squad Arena. I'm sorry, Galactic War, Cantina shipments. We need a lot more ships. That's plain and simple. There's not much more that we need to talk about that. And pretty much from there, that's pretty much going to be the summary of it all. I'm hoping, long story short, a way to play against friends, test out new characters, play with your guild, mod management, replaying old marquee events, bringing the 5-star legendaries back, being able to take low-star characters up to a higher gear level threshold at this point. You guys let me know down below, what are you hoping that Santa Claus is going to bring it? I'll give you a pro tip for the holiday season here. If you guys go ahead, leave your credit cards out for Santa Claus, a cup of Java Juice, those 3 wacky numbers in the back of your mom's credit card, you might get something special. Maybe he'll give you an 8-star character inside of Galaxy Heroes. Love to hear your thoughts on what you want to see improve for Galaxy of Heroes. Thank you again so much for being a part of my life. And let me be a small part of yours, especially these past 20 minutes. Looking forward to what the future's going to bring. Hopefully Galaxy Heroes does make a little bit better of an upturn going into 2022. But most importantly, until then, always remember, it's great to be in the Empire today. Happy holidays, everyone. I love you. Mwah!